customers to protect them from crowds.
I think that's a good idea.
A rush to buy guns during a pandemic. Who's stocking up and why?
With all the kids at home, you might be wondering what you can do with them. Well, I've got Dr. Doug Mulford from Emory, and he's going to teach us some science experiments that you can do at home.
But first, we are following breaking news on the coronavirus. The Pentagon says it will give 5 million respirators and 2,000 ventilators to Health and Human Services for virus response. Good afternoon. I'm Sean Gables.
And I'm Tracy Hutchins. Well, this comes amid concerns about a critical shortage of supplies amid the deadly coronavirus pandemic.
We have team coverage today on the fallout from this rapidly spreading sickness with Cruise Live looking at what some companies are doing to help protect our seniors. And they're looking into the supply shortage.
Well, more on that in a moment, but first let's get you caught up on the brand new numbers out on coronavirus cases in Georgia. The cases are now up to 146. That is 25 more than just yesterday. Across the country, the CDC is reporting 4,200 cases and 75 deaths. The highest numbers are in New York, Washington State, and California. And around the world, there are more than 173,000 cases of coronavirus with 7,000 deaths. Today, China, Italy, and Iran are the hardest hit.
I'm Brittany Edney at the live desk. Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottom creates a $7 million fund to help those impacted by the coronavirus. The fund is designated for food assistance to seniors and children, homeless preparedness, small business support, and aid to hourly wage earners, those of businesses that work directly with the city. It's possible by transferring uncommitted general funds to emergency assistance. Now, $1 million of that fund is for buying tech to help roll out the city's full telework deployment. At the live desk, I'm Brittany Edney.
Thank you, Brittany. President Trump wants the government to send checks to Americans over the next 2 weeks to ease the economic burden of the coronavirus outbreak. He did not specify the amount, but said it should be significant. President Trump also considering a bailout for the travel industry, and the White House urging cities and states to issue restrictions that are in line with federal guidelines.
Georgia Governor Brian Kemp also giving an update on the state's efforts to fight the spread of coronavirus. Here's the main takeaways from his briefing today. Governor Kemp is issuing an executive order for up to 2,000 National Guard members to help during the pandemic. He says this will allow the state to have extra resources on hand to use as needed. Also, he indicated an increase in coronavirus testing. He says by the end of the week, we are on track to double our testing capacity, reaching up to 200 tests a day. We're also getting an update on the isolation facilities at Hard Labor Creek State Park in Morgan County. The governor says it has 7 trailers and a new patient is staying there now. The second isolation campsite will have 20 trailers. He says that location at the Georgia Law Training Center in Monroe County will be up and running by the end of the week. Now to the airport. The governor says passenger traffic is down by as much as 40%. Hartsfield-Jackson International is only operating out of its main checkpoint. That's due to light volume. Yesterday, a TSA agent at Hartsfield-Jackson tested positive for coronavirus. The international checkpoint was closed for sanitizing. This is the 7th agent around the country confirmed to have the virus. The governor says that agent is now in quarantine.
Meanwhile, Governor Brian Kemp recommending stricter guidelines for the state's nursing homes. The governor says the facilities should restrict all visitors, volunteers, and non-essential personnel. Avoid all group activities and communal dining. Continue screening residents and healthcare personnel, and enforce sick leave policies for any staffers who may get sick. Here are Georgia's first coronavirus cases reported in an Atlanta area assisted living facility. 3 seniors and an employee at the retreat at Canton are presumed positive cases. For healthier seniors, some retailers are now setting up special hours for shopping. CBS 46 Special Assignment reporter Sally Sears visited one of those locations. Sally, you join us live in DeKalb County with more. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I am live at Mason Mill, where normally the senior center behind me and the recreation center are humming with activity, but not today. Today, DeKalb County is handing out snacks for children and only a few takers for that after-school program. Meanwhile, seniors like these people shopping on Memorial at Columbia Drive are getting a special hour first thing in the morning to help them avoid the crowds of younger customers. The store, Dollar General, is the first chain we've heard of asking other customers to wait until after the store's been open for an hour to protect those seniors and keep them from crowds. DeKalb County is continuing to offer Meals on Wheels to its senior customers and sack lunches for the 317 seniors at 4 other centers around the county. I've been concentrating on DeKalb today. Other counties are doing very similar things for their seniors and for their after-school kids. And I talked to a few of them who are getting those special early hours at Dollar General. I'll have those for you coming up. Live at Mason Mill in DeKalb County, I'm Sally Sears.
Sally.
CBS 46 News.
Sally, thank you. We look forward to seeing you in a bit. CNN is now reporting at least 9 healthcare workers may have tested positive for coronavirus. We don't know yet whether they are doctors or medical workers. We're still working to confirm that they are where they work. The report's all stemming from an internal email sent from Emory. We have reached out to Emory for comment. We're still waiting to hear back. With the number of coronavirus cases growing across the country, some government leaders are sounding the alarm about how the crisis could eventually stretch hospitals to their breaking point. Chris Martinez has the latest from Los Angeles.
We're literally on the front lines without supplies.
Hospitals and clinics across the country are bracing for a surge in patients as the daily numbers of coronavirus cases continue to rise. Many say they don't have enough medical equipment to keep up.
There's demand from across the globe. And when you don't put your orders in, other countries, other places are getting filled their orders, and we're behind here.
Bonnie Castillo is the executive director of National Nurses United. One of their main concerns, a shortage of N95 masks that can filter out 95% of airborne particles.
Nurses are being asked to actually reuse masks, including surgical masks, which provide no protection.
Today, Vice President Mike Pence offered a solution.
And that is we would urge construction companies to donate their inventory of N95 masks to your local hospital.
But doctors are concerned not enough is being done to help keep healthcare workers safe. And hospitals are worried about an expected critical shortage of beds as the virus spreads.
You have people on gurneys in hallways. That is what is going to happen now if we do nothing.
President Trump promised the Army Corps of Engineers is ready to start building field hospitals and coronavirus hotspots.
The field hospitals go up very quickly. We have them. We have all of this equipment in stock.
So far, only about 60,000 Americans have been tested for coronavirus. The Association of Public Health Labs says some of the chemical ingredients used in those tests are in short supply. Diagnostics testing giant QIAGEN, one of the companies that makes them, says they've increased production to 7 days a week to keep up with demand. Chris Martinez, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Now, the American Red Cross says the nation is also experiencing a severe blood shortage. 2,700 blood drives have been canceled, resulting in 86,000 fewer donations.
We have more breaking news on Wall Street at this hour, a rebound amid reports of a coronavirus stimulus package. Here's a look at today's closing numbers. The Dow Jones bouncing back with more than 1,000 points. NASDAQ climbing up by 420 points, and S&P 500 also up by 142. CBS 46 taking a deep dive into your finances at 4:55. We're going to bring in a money expert to answer your most important questions.
More breaking news on the coronavirus across the country. Florida now banning groups of 10 or more people from its beaches. And even then, they say those groups should be at least 6 feet apart. The new restrictions come during the busy spring break season. This decision on whether to close beaches altogether, well, that is being left up to local governments. Disneyland and Disney World parks are not letting any food go to waste. Well, last week, you may remember Disney announced the theme parks would temporarily close. During the shutdown, both parks will be donating that excess food they have to food banks in Orange County, California, and Central Florida.
For the first time in decades, the Run for the Roses has been pushed back. The Kentucky Derby is being postponed from May to September because of growing concern about the coronavirus pandemic. This is the first time in 75 years the Kentucky Derby won't run on the first Saturday in May. You can download the powerful CBS 46 streaming app or update it if you already have it so you can be the first to know about new cases as well as restrictions. That's also where you can find the latest stories on all of the events canceled because of coronavirus. The app is free on Apple and Android devices.
We did see a couple sprinkles early this morning, and it's been somewhat uneventful since then. A lot of cloud cover today, but right now on CBS 46 pinpoint radar, not seeing a whole lot of rain, and that will be the trend the